Good day everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dale K and this is my big backyard. Today we're going to talk about growing the perfect tomatoes, and it's really actually not that complicated once you get down to just a few nuts and bolts of basics. So let's talk about temperature first, and most importantly soil temperature. Soil temperature should be at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit before you plant tomatoes. Now of course that's going to vary depending on where you live, but a good rule of thumb, 60 degrees soil temperature. You can use a meat thermometer or one of those garden probe thermometers. However you get to finding out your soil temperature, when it gets to 60, you're safe to plant. The reason being is they're very, very warm season plants. So if you plant them when the soil temperature is too cool, it actually sets them back. Planting them later in your spring is actually more beneficial than planting them early. When it comes to plant selection, well, of course, varieties are endless, but make sure no matter what variety you're planting, make sure that they are nice, healthy transplants. And if you've started them from seed, also make sure you're only planting the strongest, most vigorous plants. That is also key to success. If you want to plant some varieties in containers, if you're short on space, or maybe you're having problems where you've been moving them around, you've had some disease problems, good varieties to plant in containers. And I actually have one right here. This is the Sweet 100 that I grew from seed earlier. And this is a great salad tomato, super sweet. You can see it's already kind of just like loaded with little cherry tomatoes and still in bloom as well. So that's a great one for containers. I got that in about, what is that, about a 10-inch pot. Also, these little patio types, I think some of them are called Husky Red. Also, grape type tomatoes, also good for containers. And actually, I have a bigger one in the back there. That's kind of the patio Husky Red. And I actually cut this cage off. I really don't like cages, and that's another one of my tips. Use a stake, not a cage, because what happens when you have a cage like this, and it doesn't matter whether it's this one that was provided by the grower or one of those metal cages, all that foliage gets trapped in there. There's not enough air circulation, and you end up with disease problems that way. So even if this comes with a stake, with a cage, I pop it off, and I use a nice sturdy stake. Just actually this is called sturdy stake. It's actually a metal stake. It's not wooden, so it won't rot, and it's nice and tall, and it's very durable. They last year after year. So this is what I use to stake my tomatoes just about every year, and actually bought a new one this year. So that's what I'm going to use for staking. Then of course you need some sort of I'm just going to lay that there. Then of course you need some sort of tie to kind of keep them to that pole. So just some sort of I use this kind of a soft wire tie, but really any type of tie will work. Even these reusable kind of like nylons, that would be fine as well. Something to tie it up. They need your support. The next important thing is site selection. They need at least 8 hours of sun. I'm in the shade here. This location gets really, really hot afternoon sun. That's just perfect. I got a few in the garden over there, kind of next to my potato bin. That also gets a lot of sun, but no matter where you plant them, 8 hours of sun is key. Also, mixing in something solid and organic for fertilizer is great. A little calcium nitrate, if you're short on calcium in your soil, that will stop blossom end rot. I've got a liquid fertilizer here that I'm going to apply throughout the growing season. Incorporate some solid and organic fertilizer. You choose your favorite brand. This Coop Poop is actually pretty good as well. And I'll always mix in some cow manure, some well-rotted cow manure. If you don't have access to well-rotted cow manure, compost, homemade compost is just as good. That all gets incorporated into the soil. And then as far as planting goes, you want to plant your transplants deeper than what they are in their original soil. So that way, I'm going to remove any kind of sick leaves too. And that's okay to do that, because if I'm planting it deep, I might even plant it way up here, which is actually beneficial for tomatoes. You can even kind of callus the skin there a little bit. So site preparation, I got my bed already. Actually, I mixed in all the cow manure, all the fertilizer prior. So I'm just going to dig my hole. Turn my soil, grab my slicing tomato. I'm going to keep the tag to remember what it is. Just give the roots a little bit of a tease take this plastic little clip off. Don't need him. Okay. And there we go. Really nice and deep, and then just a little side dress of that solid and organic fertilizer. And the next thing I'm going to add right over the top is some clean straw. And what this is going to do is keep soil from splashing on the leaves. That can cause some problems as well. So just a nice little layer of healthy straw around the base. That will ensure they stay healthy. But when you incorporate compost, when you incorporate cow manure, when you incorporate a good fertilizer, when you start with healthy plants, all the rest Mother Nature takes care of herself, providing you healthy tomato plants. And of course, that in turn will help you produce healthy fruit. That's my tips for growing tomatoes. Have fun.